Hello everyone, Shinto here discussing some more Warhammer combat cards, and here we are at the beginning of a new season. The theme for this month's Battle Pass is the Nightlords, and we've got some very nice looking cosmetics, as well as 4 new Chaos Bodyguards, all of them Nightlords, that you can add to your collection if you get the Battle Pass. The first one that you unlock at the very first tier, should you purchase the Battle Pass, is this Visionary with Fear and Melee Scout. A lot of these guys do have a more powerful melee attack. The others are fairly low-cost cards that have Taunt, Target Acquired, and Poison. And then there's 2 older cards that you can get, as well as the legendary Vashtor the Archiphane. As for balance changes, there are some pretty massive changes this season. We'll start off with the small stuff, though. Chaos are kind of the focus here, so a number of their bodyguards and warlords are getting some decent buffs. First of all, Gloggerthrox the Foul is getting his ready type switched from melee debuff to range debuff. He's also getting plus 10 to his melee attack, so yeah, he can get some more chopping action in with that giant axe of his. Gloggerthrox, I do think, is one of the weaker warlords and has a kind of slower playstyle that I don't really enjoy that much, but as we'll see later on, I think he will be quite a bit stronger this season, and not just because of the change to the warlord. Then we got the Faceless Blade. This guy just went down 1 point from 10 points down to 9. We got the Khorne Berserker getting plus 5 health and plus 5 to his melee attack. The Black Legion Sorcerer is down 2 points and got plus 10 to his Psychic, so he is quite a bit, considerably stronger than before. We got the World Eater's Lord on Juggernaut down 2 points and getting plus 10 to his ranged attacks with that Plasma Pistol, doing a lot more damage than it did before. The Helldrake is down 6 points, so it used to cost 61 points, now it's only 56, so definitely more usable. And that is it for stat changes. And then, I guess the Warlord changes were here at the end. So Othakar getting the boost from his special rule increased by 5, so they'll be getting plus 20 to their attack stats when the enemy card opposite is below 75% of their health. For Servants of the Emperor, Magos Dominus is actually getting a pretty big boost to a special rule. So it was healing 20, now it's going to be healing 30 to the remaining cards on the field. That's a pretty significant increase, and he's going to feel a lot stronger this season. And then for the Tyranids, Gosar is finally getting a much-deserved cost decrease. He's down 5 points at 34. So that's enough to fit a whole nother small bodyguard, or maybe swap out something for a better option. The Parasite of Mortrex is still in the spotlight, I think, but Gosar at least will be more playable thanks to this. And finally, we got a massive nerf to the Trigon, which is pretty funny here. I guess they unintentionally gave it way too much health. So Trigon is down 150 health. Yeah, it was absurdly tanky before. Now it's more in line with just what it should be, and I've only got it at level 4, so yeah, sadly, no longer worth using anymore. But if you are playing in a max level event, I mean, it's still reasonably strong. But the big change this season is actually to traits, which have not been altered for a very long time. They're looking at massively improving the effectiveness of 3 traits, which weren't performing too well in the past, and those are Poison, Regeneration, and Berserk. So let's start off looking at Poison, which was definitely one of the weakest traits in the game, I think, before. At level 1, it was only dealing 4 damage at the end of each turn, and that increases by 4 with each trait upgrade to a maximum of 16 damage at the end of each turn. Just really not very impactful. Even though, I mean, you do have the potential to poison multiple enemies, but it's really not going to make that big of a difference most of the time. Well, that's about to change because they're increasing the values massively here. So now, at trait level 1, Poison is going to be dealing 10 damage at the end of each turn, and that increases by 5 with each trait upgrade. So up to a maximum of 25 damage at the end of every turn at the max level. This is really huge. Just crazy amounts of damage. And, well, which factions does this benefit the most? Well, we can filter. So I've filtered the collection, just showing all of the cards with poison. So with Eldari, we just got 4 bodyguards. you'll notice that the Akathist, which used to have anti-infantry, is now has poison instead. So it has a very weak attack, but it'll be dealing a lot more damage through poison. These other cards are not really that great, but they will be performing a lot better now. Necrons only have one card with poison, the Plasma Sight, which I haven't even unlocked. Tau, of course, no poison. Servants of the Emperor. Now, Kyria Draxus now has poison as her main trait. So, yeah, with all 3 attack types, she basically guarantees that she'll be poisoning something. And I haven't had a high enough level that's going to be doing 20 damage at the end of each turn. So, yeah, that's quite strong. Space Marines don't have much poison, as you can see. Chaos have quite a bit more, a lot of it Nurgle. So, yeah, this is what I was saying about, Gloggerthrox the Foul. If you're running like a thematic Nurgle deck with him, yeah, he's going to be... So, first of all, he's going to be reducing the enemy's attack value from the special rule. And then you'll be able to deal a lot of damage over time with poison. Like the Great Unclean one, I have it at a high enough level that, yeah, it's going to be dealing 20 damage at the end of each turn with poison. And it also has Regeneration, which we'll be looking at next. Regeneration is also getting a considerable increase. So this thing's going to be regenerating 20 health at the end of each turn as well. So, yeah, cards that have like both Regeneration and Poison, and also Berserk, which we'll see later, those are just so much better than they were before. There are a few other like minor changes, like the Lord of Virulence did for a time have anti-infantry as its main trait, I think, but it got switched around again, so now Poison is the main trait, and it's going to be dealing a lot more damage. And then I got a few cards that I haven't unlocked yet with Poison, but the craziest ones are, yeah, the Plague Burst Crawler with Barrage and Poison, so this could poison all 3 enemy lanes. You can imagine at the max level. It is an epic, so at most it'll be doing 15 damage at the end of each turn to all 3 lanes. Even crazier than that, though, is Rodigus, who, with a Psionic Blast, guarantees that every enemy will be poisoned at the start of your turn. And at the max level, yeah, they're all going to be taking 25 damage at the end of every turn. So this thing is just, I think, one of the strongest max level cards in the game now, just because of that buff to poison. Orcs have no poison, but Tyranids also have quite a bit. Another fun one, the Hierophant Biotitan. You can imagine this at max level, being absolutely brutal. And you'll notice that some of the other bodyguards also got their traits changed from anti-infantry back to poison, like the Venom Thrope and the Toxicrene. Yeah, all of these will be quite a bit more effective. So I'm excited to try this out. I haven't actually played any games with it yet, but Poison is going to be doing some work this season. Now moving on to Regeneration. So before, Regeneration had the same values of Poison, so if you had like something that was both poisoned and regenerating, they would kind of cancel each other out. But that's no longer the case. Regeneration is slightly weaker than Poison, but still a lot better than it was before. At trait level 1, it's healing 8 at the end of each turn, and that increases by 4 with each upgrade, to a maximum of 20 health at the end of every turn. So yeah, quite a bit better. Looking again, faction by faction, which ones will be benefiting from this buff. We've got a number of Eldari bodyguards. The Grotesque, and we're going to look at Berserk next. So again, this one has Berserk and Regeneration. Berserk also got buffed, so this one is going to be a lot stronger. The Wraith Lord is going to be a lot harder to kill. I do like running this one with the Avatar of Cain, so that's going to be pretty crazy. The Wraith Seer, it's going to make this one already a powerful damage dealer, but it's going to be more durable as well. The Incarn, with Regeneration as its main trait, this thing is going to be very difficult to kill. With both massive healing and endless, and it can continue to heal after it comes back to the field. Yeah, this is going to be quite the menace, I think. And then the Lord of War, this one I don't have it at a high enough level for it to be worth using, but that also will be benefiting as well. For the Necrons, of course, Necrons have tons of regeneration, as you can see here, including the Silent King, so he's going to benefit from that. Some cards that are already very strong, like the Transcendent, with massive damage output. This thing is going to be more durable as well. The Void Dragon will be better. The Oricon the Diviner, who got a massive buff before, he's going to be harder to kill. So you're going to really have to focus a lot of damage into them, or else the healing is just going to get way out of hand. For Tau, there's only one card with Regeneration, that's the Cold Start Battlesuit. For Servants of the Emperor, they have a number of cards here. Now, Belisarius Call, I actually have just one more copy, and he's going to become incredibly powerful with that ranged upgrade. But yeah, Medicae and then Regeneration for his secondary. Quite a cost-effective card, I think. Now, Iron Hand Strachan, this guy is insanely strong now. Possibly one of the most cost-effective cards, I think, and especially, well, at max level. And these other guys don't really use many of them all that much. Though, actually, this Imperial Robot is quite useful, I think. I've run this alongside, like, Psychers in a Morven Vol deck, and it was quite strong. Space Marines do have a number of cards with Regeneration. None of them are really that great, I think. I haven't really used a lot of them in the past. Chaos have a number of cards with Regeneration. The Lord of Change is going to be tougher now. Obviously, the Great Unclean One, especially with the poison. This guy, Volgrar, Twice Thirst, Regeneration, and Fear. He did get a large chunk of his health taken out, but yeah, that is he's going to be a lot harder to kill now. So Oryx, sadly, no Regeneration. Actually, there's this one. There's the Bounce and Revolution, the one card with Regeneration, which I do not have in my collection. And Tyranids have a number of very big monsters that can regenerate as well. So yeah, the Haraspix, gonna have to try that one out. And oh yeah, Leagues of Votann, I guess they have one guy with Regeneration as well. Alright, and last but not least, a buff to all of the Berserkers out there. So Berserk was a trait that had very little impact at the lower levels, only increasing damage by 3 at the first tier, but that has doubled, so it starts off a lot stronger. Starts off with getting plus 6 to the attack stats every time the card takes damage, and that increases by just 2 with each upgrade to a maximum of 12. So at max level, it's actually the same as it was before, but it's the lower levels that are going to benefit quite a bit more. And this affects 4 warlords. And Berserk was not very impactful on any of these warlords. I think it was best on Mazrog Scragbat because he just has so much health and can increase his health through attacking. But he's going to be considerably stronger. Once again, going faction by faction, Grotesque is in particular going to be pretty nasty now. Necrons have a number of Berserkers. Again, things with more than one attack type benefit a lot more from Berserk. So like this Locust Heavy Destroyer, going to be pretty brutal. Tau, the Crutox Rider, one of my favorite Tau cards. It's going to be a lot stronger. Servants of the Emperor, once again, Iron Hand Strachan is sort of the MVP here, with both Regeneration and Berserk getting improved. Eversword Assassin, I feel like this one is not really that great, just because anti-infantry doesn't really do a whole lot, but especially if you have them at lower levels, they'll feel a lot better. Space Marines have some pretty powerful Berserkers out there, like Bayard's Revenge. If you have Deathblow unlocked, this thing is very good. Ragnar Blackmane, just one copy away from unlocking the Deathblow on him. Can't wait for that. He does have a huge amount of health, so he does benefit a lot from Berserk. So at this level, plus 10 to the attack stats. It's quite good. Chaos, of course, have a lot of Berserkers. I think the big ones here, basically cards that have Berserk as their secondary trait are going to be quite a bit better. So like the Bloodthirster, getting plus 6 to all its attack stats with that much health and that much damage, that much melee, and Deathblow. Yeah, that's going to be quite good. The Lord of Skulls, if you have this one, it's going to be pretty fun. Orcs have some solid Berserkers. Basically, Mazrog decks are going to be a lot better, because Mazrog, you're running Berserkers usually anyway. Like a lot of these big guys, like the Beast Boss, the Death Dread, and the Squigoth, all of these guys are going to be stronger at the lower levels. As will the Kill Rig. So, yeah, running Mazrog is going to be a lot of fun. And Tyranids also have some good melee Berserkers. which is going to make the Parasite of Mortrex even stronger, as well as Gosar. So, like, yeah. Old One Eye, the regular Carnifex, we've got the Hive Tyrant with Inspiring Presence, and again, the Deathblow Berserker combo on the Abominant. Those are all going to be a lot stronger. And then Leagues of Votann, yeah, they got one Berserker as well. And then in the blog, yeah, you can see sort of the trait changes here. So a lot of anti-infantry getting switched to poison. So yeah, that is all the changes to this season. So I'll be playing a number of matches in the coming days and weeks, trying out the cards that were altered the most by these changes and seeing how it changes the meta. But that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time.